What's up, everybody? A few months ago, I had decided to buy the chest expander by Baraban, and let me tell you, it has been quite the ride using this tool. And I know a lot of people have been wondering about my review video on this device, and so this is the long-awaited review video. So, what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to be comparing it especially to the previous chest expander that I was using, which was like a $40 knockoff version on Amazon. And I'll tell you my verdict at the end, but you could probably already assume the verdict. So the first and foremost thing that I'll say about this expander that I like way better than the other expander is the spring quality. The springs don't stretch. I mean, like, when I say they don't stretch, like, they always return back to their normal homeostasis and position. And that's really important because my other expander has slowly over time gotten to the point where it's losing tension because it's stretched out and it stays in the stretched position. Whereas this one always comes back to the same exact point, and I can tell because the tension is very consistent over the weeks that I've been using it. Now, the other one, it definitely has lost some of its kick, and that's probably just because they used a cheaper grade steel or metal or whatever to craft it. Another huge thing about this one is the quality of the handles, because they roll, and not only do they roll, but they are a pretty decent diameter, but they have a decent knurling too. It's not overly aggressive, and at first I was kind of wondering if it was not enough of a knurling, but I've never had a problem. Whenever I go to pull this thing apart, I mean, it stays in your hands and it feels like you're really planted to the device. And so that's a top-notch advantage of this one over any other ones for sure, because the other ones that I have, it has like a single handle that just goes around, it doesn't roll or anything like that, and you honestly start to fail, not because you can't pull the springs apart, but because you can't hold on to the damn thing. And if you're going to be very serious about, working on this exercise and developing it over time, I think it's well worth the purchase to buy something like this over that knockoff version, simply because of reasons like that, because you're going to get to a point where the grip is your limiting factor. You can't pull it apart because you can't hold the damn thing and it slips out of your hands, whereas this, it just keeps firmly planted. I've gotten up to 5 springs. I'm working on going up to 6 springs. I just like working in a higher rep range, so I'll be there pretty soon. But this is a device, like I said, where it's pretty serious. It's heavy duty. And with the heavy dutiness, there's the only downfall is the heaviness to it. I mean, it's pretty freaking heavy, and it's not even a problem with doing the exercise itself. It's just storage in the gym bag, because I like to use a small, light gym bag when I go in. I know a lot of people have a big one, but for me personally, I like to go lighter and with less things. And so the only downfall of this thing, which isn't even a big downfall, is the fact that it's just heavy and it occupies a lot of the weight of the bag, not even space-wise. And also, too, another thing that I would like to mention, at first I got concerned about these springs, thinking that when I stuffed it in the bag, if they got crimped or something like that, that they would get put into like a really bad position over time. And they always end up turning straight. I've never had a problem where like they get crooked or bent out or stretched out from something as simple as getting like, bent like this for a long period of time. If you can even see, it's kind of fighting me. It wants to go back to its normal position. And so that's been nice. The other thing that I've really, really, really enjoyed is how easy it is to assemble and disassemble. So like within this short span of time, these clips are just so freaking easy to take it apart and then to put it back together, to the point where, you can have all of them in your hand and have the weight of the expander going on you, and you can easily do this. I know it's not like the fastest thing in the world, but like compared to the cheaper version where it's got these horrible little tabs that you have to go and put on, it feels like you're trying to put something on like your keychain with the other one, whereas this is just a simple carabiner that just clips on and off. So that's really nice because it comes with it. And like I had mentioned in my unboxing video, it comes with extra springs, which I was glad it did, because I was worried about the springs, getting stretched out, but I have not yet had a problem with outstretching a spring. So hopefully they don't really run into that issue because the quality of the build is good. But that's about it. I mean, honest to God, it's just a simple and straightforward review. And I will say this, if you're somebody that's serious about taking this exercise into a high degree of progression, I think it's well worth the buy. But if you're somebody that's just kind of dabbling and looking to kind of see if it's worth it for you, it might almost be worth it for you to get the shitty version of it just to see if you even like the exercise itself before you commit to something like this, because it's definitely an exercise that I think for some I've had do it and they get humbled by it so much to the point where they don't like it. And then I have others that get humbled by it so much that they want to master it. So I guess it really depends on what kind of person you are and if you could see yourself lugging this to the gym with you. Or if you have a home gym, I think it's a great tool to add to your home gym. And in that case, I would 100% say it's worthwhile doing that. But just make sure that you want to actually work on this exercise and progress it, because if you don't, you could do other things like face pulls, rear delt flies, cable flies, whatever, reverse pec deck. I mean, there's a million other options. It's just in terms of enjoyment factor of doing it and the notice, like from what I've noticed with progression on it, it's got me hooked. So I think it's going to be in my program indefinitely, at least for the next few months, if not years. So that's that, because again, like I said, I'm at the 5 spring mark. I don't know when I'll be at 7 springs, especially like I said, because I try to stick to a higher rep range. And when I get there, I'll probably just keep it in as a staple exercise and try to pre-fatigue as much as possible to continue to have a challenge and struggle with this. So that's my review on it. Like I said, if you're serious about progressing with it, I think it's well worth the money. And if you're not, I mean, go try the knockoff version. It wasn't bad. It just over time kind of gets shittier and shittier. So that's that, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.